Hi, Year 3, welcome back. Welcome to Summer 2. And again, here we are. We're going to be looking at some math today, and we have a new unit for this week, and it is all about angles and lines. So we're going to start by looking at different types of angles. Now, you already hopefully know that angles are all around us. There are different types of angles everywhere we go. Outside, inside, on our bodies we can make different angles. They're everywhere. You might have heard people talking about angles when hanging a picture and saying, oh, make sure it's at the right angle, or even taking a photo, make sure you get my good angle, things like that. But these are the types of angles that we're going to be looking at this week, and specifically right angles, acute angles, and obtuse angles. I'll talk about these angles as well, but you only really need to know these three in Year 3. So what is an angle? Well, an angle is part of a turn, actually, but it can also be described as meeting of 2 points. So you can see that A, in this case, we're saying it's ray, or an arm, is met, it's going, and B is coming, and they meet at O. And this space between them is the angle. So here we have different vocabulary for an angle. We have an arm, that other arm, so you have A arm, you have B arm, and where they meet is called the vertex. Angles, like I said, we can find them everywhere. So, a pair of scissors, if you open them, they can make different types of angles. So you could see that would be an arm, that would be an arm, and there's the vertex in the middle, and here is the angle. A hockey stick, here's the points where it's meeting, and the angle here. A chair, you have lots of different angles. Your seat, where the legs meet, etc. Could go on and on and on. Now, we're going to look at first a right angle. So a right angle is 90 degrees. What does that mean? Let's look at it in a circle. So we know that a whole circle, a whole turn, is 360 degrees. If I went along and went along and went along almost a whole circle, I would know I've done 360-degree turn. Now, we can use a protractor, which is this guy. It's a picture of a protractor to measure our degrees and our angles. But a lot of the time, you can just kind of estimate. So we know a circle is 360, a full circle. Now, what if we only did a half of a turn or a half of a circle, a semicircle? So I've gone and I have a half of my way. Well, we already know that half of 360 is 180. That's what we think of when people say, oh, I'm going to do a 180. So they just turn, but half of the way, not a full turn, but half turn. Now, if we look at this again, well, we know that half of a half is a quarter. So a quarter turn, if I just went one of them, one turn, that would be 90. So 90 degrees would be this way. 1/4. And you can see that I have 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would make my whole thing. So 4 times 90 is 360. So 4 right angles would make my full thing. Now my angles are a bit messy because it is hard to do at a computer, but let's have a look at it here. Here you can see the right angle is 90 degrees. So it would take 4 of them to make kind of that circle shape again. So we just have a quarter of it. And here, this is the part, this is our angle. Here's the arm, the other arm, and the angle, and it's at 90 degrees. Now, what would happen if it was a little bit less than 90 degrees? Say it came up to there, at 40 degrees. You can see in my 90 degrees is here. That would be my right angle, but we don't want to make a right angle. We want it to be less than 90 degrees. Now, this is one of my favorite angles because it's very easy to remember because it has the word cute in it. And I always think of tiny, cute things are tiny. So it's the same thing. An acute angle is a tiny angle. It's less than 90 degrees. So it could be 0, it could be 5, it could be 15, 17, 37, 52, any of these, as long as it's less than 90 degrees. Now this angle is going towards the left, but we could do the same thing if it was going towards the right as well. Again, sorry, it's not an absolute straight line. But here I've still made an acute angle at 20 degrees there. Again, let's look at it this way. I know that it's going to be less than 90 degrees. So for instance, even though we've looked at it facing the left, we've looked at it facing the right, let's do one down here. So this would be 90 degrees. So I want less, I'm going to do this as my arm, one of my arms, and less, so let's just do it this way. There we go. And that's still an acute angle because it's still less than that 90 degrees. Now, let's think of an obtuse angle. Obtuse already is such a fun word. And this angle is more than 90 degrees, but this is important. It's still less than 180. So that semicircle, or in this case, a straight line. So obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees. You see it's gone all of this space, but it's still less than that 180. Again, we can do it on here. So this would be my straight line, my semicircle would be 180. I'll do one this way this time. So that's one of my arms. This would be 90 degrees. So I want to make an obtuse one. So I want it to be larger, greater than. I'm going to bring it this way. So all of this space, that would be my angle. And that's an obtuse angle because it's greater than 90 degrees. That would be my 90. It's greater than 90 degrees, but still less than 180. Now, these ones we don't need to know for year 3, but I thought I'd teach you them anyways because they're quite easy to remember. A straight angle is that exactly 180. So it looks almost like, and it is, a straight line. It's at that 180. So we could either do it this way, but even if I wanted to do it across, again, not going to be perfect. Oh, yeah, definitely not perfect. There we go. That would be your straight lines, your straight angles. A reflex angle is an angle greater than 180 and less than 360. So here we can see that it's greater than 180 because it's come all the way around this way. It's gone past the 180 mark and we have a bit more, but it's still less than 360 because we haven't made the whole thing yet. We haven't made the whole 360, haven't made the whole 10. So same thing here. Let's see, let's do my arm this way. I'm going to start here. So I know it's greater than 180. So I'm going to stop there and put it, let's have it. So I'm going to do it like this. Now this might look like it's an acute angle, but remember, we're looking at this part of it. So you can see there, that's the reflex angle. Let's look, what kind of angle is this? Now, to look at an angle, all angles in this case will be marked with a little curve showing you where the angle is. So it's saying that we want to figure out this area of it, not this outside of it, but this is the angle that we're looking at. So let's see, is it a right angle? Is it 90 degrees? Is it an acute angle? Is it less than 90 degrees? Is it an obtuse angle greater than 90 degrees but less than 180? Is it a straight angle, 180, so a straight line? Or is it a reflex greater than 180 but less than 360? What do you think? Tell me when to stop. Oh, well done, I heard you. Excellent work. It's an acute angle. Now here we have a different angle. You can see that they tried to do a curve, but it should have been an actual part of a square. And that gives you a big clue because this is how we mark angles that are at 90 degrees. So what angle is it at 90 degrees? Tell me when to stop. Well done, it's right angle. Oh, here we have a very big angle. It's definitely greater than that 90 degrees. That line from that vertex isn't coming straight out. It's going over that 90 degrees. Oh, an angle that's greater than 90 degrees. Well, it could be a reflex, couldn't it? It could be a straight. Oh, but that's right. It's less than 180, isn't it? So which one is that? Tell me when to stop. Excellent work. It's an obtuse angle. Now, let's quickly have a look at the work that you need to be doing. Now, this should look familiar to you. This is lesson 1 and it's understanding angles. If you want to click on that, the word understanding on your computer, that will send you a link with another video that just tells you a bit more about angles. First part, if you can fill in the blank. So an angle is formed when lines. How many lines meet at a shared point? They are measured in, what did I say those things were? 90, 360, which are represented by this symbol. It looks like a little circle up in the air. There are 4 important types of angles: acute, right, obtuse, and reflex. We also looked at straight angles, if that's okay. A full circle has 360 degrees. If you see an angle of 722 degrees, it means it's rotated twice around a full circle. And then complete this. Angles in a circle add up to how many degrees? So once you've done that, you can go ahead and do this. So all you have to do is write down how many angles a shape has. Now we're going to look at the space inside the shape, all right? And I've marked these ones as with my part of the square because these are actually right angles. If you want to even name the angles already, that's excellent. But if you just want to say how many there are, that's absolutely fine. So you can see here, there's 1, that's your vertex, 2, 3, and 4. All right? Lesson 2 is all about right angles. So a right angle is one that measures exactly how many degrees. You can find right angles inside a square. How many right angles can you find inside a square? Well, this will help you because that was a rectangle, so you can figure that out. Now, you are actually going to create a right angle checker and find right angles at home. So to do this, you're going to need a scrap piece of paper. So any scrap piece of paper could do, even if it's not a perfect one, that's absolutely fine. They've just taken a piece here. So the first thing you need to do is fold the piece of paper. Right? So I'm folding it hot dog style. If you fold it hamburger, it doesn't really matter. Now it said fold again, so the edge BC lies exactly along AC. So in this case, I'm just going to fold it again. And now you should have this shape. And there it is. The angle at C is a right angle. So this is kind of your vertex. So you can see actually my camera screen should match up. There we go, with my right angle. So this is a good idea. If you don't have a protractor at home, you can have this piece of paper and check with your 90 degrees there. And lots of things, and home might have a 90-degree angle. Corner of your book might have a 90-degree angle. Lots of things that you could use to check as a right angle checker. And all you have to do for lesson 2 is find right angles around your house. How many can you find? Can you take a picture of it? Can you make it maybe a tally chart? Whatever you want to do, just see and try to find those right angles at home. Lesson 3, you're going to mark acute angles with a red pencil, right angles with a green pencil, and obtuse with a blue pencil. Now remember, right angle, we're going to mark like part of a square into it to complete that square. And then our obtuse and our acute angles, we can just do with a curve. So I've done some of them already. You can see here I've put 2 right angles. Oh, what would this angle be? Now these dots will actually help you because you can imagine that there's right angles coming from them. So I can already see here that that's one arm of it, that's a second arm, and that's definitely greater than 90 degrees. So a greater one, I don't remember. Oh, luckily I have this to help me. Greater is obtuse. So I would put blue here, right? This one I can see, this arm, that would be 90. This is less than 90, so that would be an acute. This is a challenge. So they tell you what a semaphore is. A signaling system uses flags. And this is letter A, so you can see that they've made using an acute angle. And so here you can have a challenge and try to draw. You could draw your name, you could find a word that has exactly 3 right angles, however you want to do. So you can see that here, like P, for example, is a right angle. Q is an obtuse angle. Oh, R is a straight angle. Some interesting information there. And that is it for our angles. So just make sure you remember our recap of a right angle is at 90 degrees. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees, and an obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees, but less than 180. And hopefully that will help you with these activities today. I think they're quite straightforward. This one is probably the trickiest, but just use those dots to help you kind of visualize where those would be. And you can always use your right angle checker to help you with that as well. All right, I'll see you later.